Yeah, I think we have audio, we have visual. Yes, we do. It is. It was today's Friday. Friday, Friday morning, January 20th in the year 2023 of our Lord. Yes, we are here, Amazing Great Sports Network. I am Clay Morris. This is the Amazing Great Sports Network, and we do an NFL preview. So far, we've had some good times, some great times in the NFL. Now is when it all really starts to kick in. This is when it really starts to become real. This is the second round of the playoffs. The wild card was last weekend. We pretty much knew who was going to win and who wasn't going to win. There was only really one upset, the Jaguars, if that was an upset. The New York Giants when they beat the Vikings. There was one upset. The Giants went into Minnesota and destroyed the Vikings. So, other than that, we pretty much had a handle on who was going to win and who was not going to win. There were some close games, but they played out pretty much the way we thought. So let's get on. Oh, before we go into that, I want to let you know that you are the most important person in sports, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you. So you, ladies and gentlemen, and sports fans everywhere, let's get ready to rumble because the NFL playoffs really begin tomorrow, beginning with on a Saturday. So let's get right into it. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to Kansas City. Yes, Kansas City, here they come. Jacksonville, with their head coach, Doug Peterson, will play Kansas City in Kansas City. They'll play the Kansas City Chiefs at 4:30 tomorrow. Now, Doug Peterson, where does that name sound familiar? Oh, yeah, that's right. Doug Peterson. He was the guy who won the Super Bowl with Philadelphia a couple of years back over the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick when he inexplicably decided not to play his starting cornerback, Malcolm Butler, but let him stay in the whole game and watch it. And he never had to explain to anybody because, he's Bill Belichick. So screw all of you. I do what I want to do. And that's just the way it is. I don't have to explain anything. Yes, but that Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl a couple of years back. Well, he's back. And Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs should be on high alert because Doug Peterson is a winner who knows how to win. Why do I say this? Because Peterson took over a team that went 3-14 last year. He took it over in, I believe, January of this. Well, actually, it'd be 2022. Yeah, January, February of 2022. That team had went 3-14 the year before, the 21-22 season. He took that very same team, well, for the most part, but the same quarterback and most of the same parts, took that very same team and molded them into division champions. Yes, they won the division. And now they are in the second round of the playoffs. How does that happen? Because Doug Peterson knows what he is doing. Okay? A team that has had one of the worst records in the NFL over the last 3 years are now on the cusp of playing for the conference championship. And with the win tomorrow, that's where they will be. Now, the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, with Pat Mahomes and all the high flying acrobatic plays that they draw up, they were on the bye last week because they had the best record in the AFC. So, because they had that bye, they have had 2 weeks to heal their wounds and recover from whatever injuries that they possibly might have, any nicks and cuts and scrapes, any pulls and sprains that they were able to massage and work over and get back into peak condition. They had 2 weeks to do so. So Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs better be ready. They better be ready because the Jags, they're coming to Kansas City, and they're coming to Kansas City to win. I think this game is going to be a humdinger because Trevor Lawrence threw for 3 interceptions last week. That's right. He had 3 interceptions. Oh, I heard it was 4. Yeah, was it 4? Okay, 4 interceptions last week, and they still came back. They still came back and won. So we're talking about a team that is resolute. Okay, they are ready. They're ready to play, and Kansas City better be ready. That being said, with all this talk of Jacksonville and what Jacksonville has done, I'm taking Kansas City to pull it out. I just don't see the Jags doing it. They could, but I don't know. I just don't see them doing it yet. I'm seeing Kansas City. Okay. All right, let's move on. In the second game, the mighty, high and flying Philadelphia Eagles with their head coach Nick Sirianni are hosting the revamped, reconstituted, and formidable New York Giants with their head coach Brian Daboll. Now, the Eagles, they were on the bye last week also because they won. They had the best record in the NFC, so they were on the bye, and because of that, they had 2 weeks to heal, 2 weeks to recover, 2 weeks to sit in ice baths or get massages and work out and get their mind clear, get things straight in the family if they can, since they've been away and working week after week and not paying much attention to the family. So they've had this time to do it. That being said, that means Jalen Hurts is ready. That means the Eagles offense, which set a franchise record for points scored, total touchdowns, and rushing touchdowns this season, is ready. That means the Eagles defense, which generated 70 sacks, the third most in NFL history, is at full strength and ready. Now, they were already chomping at the bit to go. Yeah, this is a young team and they can't wait to play anyway. But consider this. With their longtime arch nemesis, the New York Football Giants, looming right in front of them, this has been a rivalry for a long period of time. The Eagles, well, I would say they're frothing at the beak. Okay, it's a little joke. We would say they're frothing at the mouth, but because they're Eagles, I'm making the analogy that they are frothing at the beaks. Okay. Now the Giants. The Giants have been a run-first team or a run-heavy team most of the season. They relied on the run. They have Saquon Barkley, and they were trying to establish the run and things of that sort. Well, all that changed last week when they executed a 1980s San Francisco game plan on the Minnesota Vikings. They became a throw-first team, and I mean throw-first, second, and third down. A throw-first team for the first 3 series. Then they settled into a run game. Now that's something that Bill Walsh used to do with San Francisco. Just go out there and just start throwing the ball. Not even think about running. And catch the other team off guard, which had caught the Vikings off guard. And they drove the Vikings into the back. Well, the Vikings are known for pillaging and raiding. Well, they took the Vikings and they stopped that pillaging and the raiding and drove them back into the sea, finished them off. Now, can it work 2 weeks in a row? Not against the Eagles, it won't. You see, Philadelphia didn't get 70 sacks by playing video games. They didn't get it by playing Madden. No, they got it by being out on the field. And they are going to hammer Daniel Jones if he dallies with that ball. And their linebackers play good coverage. So, could be dicey, but I don't see that happening. Now, the Giants, they had a great season. They came from the ashes. There was 4 teams that had the worst record in the NFL over the last 3 seasons. Okay, the Detroit Lions was one of them. Jacksonville Jaguars was another one. I believe the Panthers were the other one, and the Giants. Jackson. Okay, which one did I name? Okay, we have the Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jags, Carolina Panthers, and New York Giants. They were the four worst teams in the NFL over the last 3 years. So for the Giants to even make it this far in the second round of the playoffs, it has been an achievement based upon what has happened to that franchise in the last 3 years. So they've done quite good. But the buck is going to stop here in Philadelphia. I'm seeing Philadelphia taking this game because Philadelphia is a complete team. And unfortunately, at this time, the Giants, for all you New York fans, and there's got to be a lot of you because there's a lot of fans that live in New York and a lot of fans that live around the country, but it's not going to be good for you. No, the buck is going to stop here. It's going to stop in Philadelphia beginning tomorrow. Tomorrow is when it happens. Now, the first game on Sunday has the Cincinnati Bengals with their head coach Zach Taylor traveling upstate New York, to play the Buffalo Bills and their head coach Sean McDermott. Yes, this is a rematch of a game that was halted 3 weeks ago in Week 17. Now, the Bengals made it to this game by defeating the Baltimore Ravens last week, who didn't have Lamar Jackson, whether he was ready to play or not. But they just pulled it out. The Bengals did. And they looked very shaky while they were doing it. Not very convincing. It almost looked like they were lucky to get the win. Okay? Now, the Buffalo Bills, they defeated the Miami Dolphins last week. But they just pulled it out at the end also. And they also looked very shaky in doing so. So, neither team looked good last week. But from what I saw, I'm thinking Cincinnati. Why? Because of the two quarterbacks in play here. One is Joe Burrow. The other is Josh Allen. Joe Burrow is a steady Eddie. He's all grit and grind. Now, he can make the throws. He can throw deep. He can do everything. He can even run the ball. But he's not exciting. Okay, let's just put it that way. Josh Allen, on the other hand, is an electrifying talent. He can run with the fastest. He can throw with the farthest. He can flick the ball 70 yards. It's unbelievable. Just flick it, and it goes 50 yards, maybe 70 yards. Okay? Joe Burrow seldom makes mistakes. Steady Eddie, grit and grind. He's going to make the right read or throw the ball out of bounds. He's not going to take a chance for the most part. Okay? Josh Allen, on the other hand. Josh Allen, on the other hand, is a one-man band in creating mistakes. Now, a team may be able to overcome turnovers in the regular season, but in the playoffs against a good team, not so much. Also, the weather will be mild and not a factor. So even though the Bills have a 4-0 record at home with Sean McDermott as their coach, I'm thinking Bengals. Sorry, Buffalo fans, but hey, you can always clap back at me if the Bills win. But if the Bills lose, you can always come back and say, hey, you were right. Now, in the second game of Sunday, it features the San Francisco 49ers and their head coach Kyle Shanahan hosting the Dallas Cowboys with head coach Mike McCarthy. Now, this game brings back the days of Troy Aikman and Joe Montana, of Jimmy Jones and Bill Walsh, the glory days of the Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. Well, those glory days are back. At least for this season, they are. You see, Dallas suplexed Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, but then again, who didn't and who doesn't? Dallas looked good on offense and on defense. The Cowboys gained a measure of confidence, respect, and momentum with the win. They also conquered a curse that had hung over them for 30 years. winning a playoff game on the road. But now they will go up against a complete team with a very good coach in Shanahan. San Francisco slapped down the Seattle Seahawks last week and made it look easy. The 49er defense was ranked number 1 in the league. The 49er offense, even with rookie Brock Purdy, ran roughshod over the league during the season. Dallas is hoping to get at and get on Brock Purdy, to rattle him, to pressure him. But I don't see that happening. You see, Purdy has the goods to be a very good quarterback in the NFL, especially when you consider the weapons he has in his possession at this time. Ayuk, Kittles, McCaffrey, and Samuels. Each one of those guys, they are a terror on their own, and together they are wreaking terror. San Francisco's offense is aggressive and explosive, and it will prove too much for Dallas's defense. When I couple that with Dak Prescott's tendency to throw INTs in pressure situations, I see San Francisco in an easy win. More easy than most people think. Now, that game is the most highly sought after game. I don't think you can get a ticket there for less than $400. So if you want to go see that game in San Francisco, you're going to have to pony up some money. I don't know if any tickets are available, and I wouldn't advise you to go out to a scalper, but the choice is yours. I can't tell you what to do. Well, that wraps it up for me, sports fans. You may have noticed that I mentioned the head coaches of each of these teams. I did so that you would notice there is a new generation of head coaches making their presence felt in the NFL. They are getting good, and getting better. You have Brian Daboll, Giants; Doug Peterson, Eagles; Sean McDermott, Buffalo Bills; Kyle Shanahan, 49ers; Nick Sirianni of the Bengals. Oh, Nick Sirianni. Ooh. Excuse me. Well, anyway, Zach Taylor of the Bengals. Nick Sirianni of the Eagles. I said Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson of the Jaguars. Doug, don't worry about it. We still always associate you with the Eagles because you did a great job with them. You rose them out of the ashes of nothingness and took them to a Super Bowl. Nobody saw that coming. And now you're doing the same with the Jaguars. Now, I named those coaches, but there are 2 coaches that are part of the old guard that are still bringing it. That is Mike McCarthy and Andy Reid. Mike McCarthy of the Cowboys and Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs. So, that rounds it out. They're the old guard, and those other guys are the new guard. So, yes, the game moves forward, and it moves on, as in all things in life. So get prepared for the future, because whether you like it or not, it is coming. And with that, I say peace in the Middle East. Adios, au revoir, arrivederci, vaya con Dios, and goodbye to each and every one of you. Ciao. Let's see if I can maneuver this.